You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Training Thursday show, I'm looking forward to talking about a topic that's almost never discussed, right? We're always talking about what's the best form of exercise. Is CrossFit good or bad? Are boot camps good or bad? Are spin classes good or bad? When should we do yoga? What type of yoga is best? But we're never talking about what comes before those particular types of exercise, right? So on previous Training Thursdays, the TT shows, if you're going back into previous shows, I give you my opinion on each form of exercise. But it goes beyond that because I've said in the past that exercise, your form of exercise, should actually be custom tailored if possible around your specific state and around your specific body type. Because once you know that, then you're better able to get the most out of your body. Now, if you're a perfectly healthy individual, you've got yourself well, you're pretty much at your goal weight, then you can do almost any form of exercise and be fine with it. But what I want to talk about today is making sure that you keep yourself in the game for decades to come. Remember, exercise is not meant to be something that you do in your 20s, 30s, 40s. I could make an argument that it's actually more important in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And the reason is this: sarcopenia and osteopenia, so basically your body's just breaking down in terms of muscle, in terms of bone, all these things, is very easy to prevent if you're getting in a good nutrition diet, that you're getting in a functional medicine-based multivitamin, something like that, and that you are using weight training to your advantage 2 to 3 times a week. That's literally clinically proven. It's been clinically proven for decades. However, for whatever reason, we don't prescribe exercise as medicine, which we should. It is medicine for keeping your bones strong. Forget about these high doses of vitamin D, 50,000, 100,000, 300,000 IU. No, you've heard me debunk that before. What we need is some vitamin D, yes, some calcium, yes, some vitamin K, some magnesium, all those things. Zinc, you need them all. So that's where you take a multi, and obviously you're going to get it through good whole food as well. So the multi is basically just the fail-safe. But then also, how do you make the bones stronger? Well, you need to create some type of tensile force against them. You need to create some reason for them to stay healthy and strong, just like your muscles. You need your brain and your body to literally say, oh, wow, we need to keep up with the physical demands of our daily routine. Now, if your physical demands are just sitting down all day, well, good luck trying to keep muscle in your body. Good luck trying to keep your metabolism elevated. And good luck trying to keep your bones healthy and strong. Because why? They have no reason to be that strong, right? They don't have to support you. You're seated in a seat, and your body is not required to produce any force. Therefore, it is not going to adapt to its situation. Remember, our body's basically a living organism. Not basically, it is a living organism, and it responds to its environment. If you give it an environment that it needs to create more bone, more muscle, it will do that, right? You just need to provide the force. It's a specific principle called specific adaptation to imposed demand. It's called the SAID principle. It's something I learned about just a little over 20 years ago when I got really into exercise in high school. And I was saying to myself, all right, I'm not naturally a big guy, right? So I want to put on muscle. How do I do that? And I just studied these principles. And remember, you can literally do anything you want with your body. I've had my body down to about 140 pounds, and I've had my body all the way up to 200 pounds. Somewhere in the middle works best for me. You can make your body, no matter how challenging it is, you can make your body get to any goal weight you want. You just have to know how to apply science and the physiology behind it. Okay, so way off on a tangent, which is typical, for me on the show. But what I want to talk about today is, though, which brought me to all of this, how do you keep yourself in the game? How do you keep yourself exercising for decades at a time? And the big thing is this: you want to make sure you start each and every one of your workouts, each and every exercise session. Doesn't matter if it's running, running up the stairs for stadium stair sprints, for doing hill sprints, for doing a boot camp, spin, or weight training. Every single workout must begin with what's called a dynamic warm-up. I'm going to go through all of this. Not only am I going to go through all of this, I'm going to give you at least one example to download that you can just have completely free. When I do online workouts, when I create online programming for people, you get these beautiful little PDFs. I make things super simple, right? Because nobody wants complicated, right? I wrote a whole book on complicated. Everybody wants simple. So I understand that, and I just want to give you what you're looking for. So today, just go to steamcabral.com/370, and I'll put at least one of my examples up there for a warm-up that anyone can do. And the nice thing about this warm-up is when you look at this PDF, again, completely free. So I'm not selling anything. It's completely free. You can't even buy online workouts. So again, there's nothing to sell. What you do is you literally read it. It tells you how to do it. It shows you a photo, kind of like before, after, and then you can click on the photo if you want, and it plays about a 10-second video. It's beautiful. It's easy to use, and it's going to show you at least one way to warm up. But right now, I'm going to teach you how to create your own warm-up. So when you get certified with all these different organizations like the National Academy of Sports Medicine, which I'm certified by, and National Strength and Conditioning Association, all these great places, they're basically teaching you how to rehab clients, but also keep them and athletes injury free. So that's the important thing. Like when I'm watching like the Super Bowl last Sunday and I'm looking at the intensity of these, huge human beings just hitting each other with the force of like two trucks literally hitting each other, it's unbelievable that there aren't more injuries, right? I mean, I know that they're hurting for the next couple of days after that, but what you have to look at is the just state-of-the-art programs that a lot of these guys run. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of professional athletes as well and helping them tailor this, again, to their body, but also to their workouts. So let's get right into it. So, and again, this is going to be short, sweet, because I want you to be able to have just really actionable information. And I hope that that's what I'm trying to provide. So first, you believe me, people usually create the warm-up first. And I know that I'm speaking to a lot of personal trainers out there as well. So I want you to think about this. You don't create your warm-up before you create your workout. So let me repeat that. Don't create your warm-up before you actually write in what the client's going to do for a workout. Here's why. Very simple. Your warm-up should be dictated by what you created for a workout, meaning it should be specific. So if it's more hamstring glute dominant, well, you're going to want to add in some glute-based activation in the beginning. Maybe a one-legged bridge, maybe some Versaloop-based work. Who knows? Like you can decide that for you and for your client. And then you want to think about the same thing. Like what if they're doing a lot of pressing? They're maybe doing overhead pressing for their shoulders, or maybe they're doing some chest-based work. You'll want to do a little bit more rotator cuff work in there. You're going to want to make sure that whole upper extremity, the whole upper shoulder girdle is nice and warmed up. And what does that do? What does that mean? Well, it does a couple things. When you do a warm-up, let me just back up for 1 second. When you're doing a warm-up, most people doing a general warm-up. They get to the gym, they hop on a treadmill for like 5 minutes or so, and they just kind of like walk or jog or run. And then they get into their weight workout. Well, that's called a general warm-up. You didn't actually do anything except get your body temperature up, which is good. Don't get me wrong. Get a little bit of a sweat, get a little bit of pliability in those muscles. Okay, that's great. But then after you do that, you should be doing something called a specific warm-up. And a specific warm-up would then be like lunges and maybe an overhead squat holding a stick or something like that. It might be some balance work. It could be hip swings for opening up the nervous system, which I'll talk about in just a second. It could be anything, right? It literally could T-twist, you name it. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you're activating now your nervous system in a very specific manner. You're teaching your body how to do the exercises, basically with body weight now during the warm-up, that you'll be doing with weight later in the workout, right? So if you're doing a chest press with weight, not a bad idea early in the workout to do a plank, a ball plank, or maybe some shoulder abduction, like lying on the floor, opening up one arm, or maybe even just some T-twists, right? Or some T-twist push-ups. And again, you can look all these up. I'll provide plenty of examples for you. So what that does is it also tells the brain how to move the muscles properly before we start adding weight to it. Now, if you think about it, that just makes a lot of sense, right? You're far less prone to injury if you get your body warmed up and you tell it how to move first before putting heavy weights in your hands or however you want to do it, on your back, right? And then you can also do some muscle activation, which means that if you're someone who sits all day, it would probably make sense to open up the muscles that are tight. And the muscles that get tight when you sit are your psoas, which is basically kind of right near your groin. It's right below that hip bone, which is the hip bone's that iliac crest. You just kind of follow it straight down the midline of that thigh. It's right at the top, right in the groin. It's called the inguinal cleft, and that's right around where the psoas is, okay? The other part that gets tight when you are sitting are your hamstrings as well. Both of those muscles, when tight, affect your lower back. Too many people deal with lower back issues that have nothing to do with their lower back and everything to do with their hamstrings and psoas, but they're not correcting those, and so they're dealing with a lower back that's forced to move because the muscles that are supposed to move for it basically are immobile, right? So the static part, the lower back that should be pretty solid and static, ends up having to be mobile, and that's where we get our injuries from. So what we do is we warm the body up ahead of time, okay? And again, using the exercise that said, very simple. You could do bridging. Like a simple warm-up would be this. A cat and cow, which a lot of people know from yoga, maybe some bridging, some hip swings where literally you're just swinging your hip, you're swinging your leg forward and back like a pendulum, and then side to side like a pendulum. What that does is actually calms down the central nervous system, relaxes your body, which again, most tightness is neuromuscular tightness, which means your nervous system's just holding your muscles so tight that if you just breathe and relax, everything will loosen up. And those hip swings also open up your psoas muscle in the front, and it will activate your glute if you squeeze your glute as you swing your leg back. So really, really nice stuff. Another great one would just be a plank. Really great. And maybe just some split lunges, like in place, kind of keeping the legs at right angles, dropping the back knee down slowly, stretching out the psoas again. Really, really great, simple to do exercises. And the plank gets the upper body. The lunges will get the lower. Some bridging will get the glutes and the posterior chain. So really simple, really straightforward. I don't think I want to complicate today's show really any more than that. So what I'm going to do is right now is really just say this. Even if you're running, even if you're doing a spin class, even if you're doing what would be considered cardio-based work, you really should do what I just spoke about, a bridge to activate those glutes. Most people run all quads, right? They end up with knee-based issues. You need to turn on the hamstrings. You need to turn on the glutes. Do some bridging. Do some Supermans. Super simple to do. Do some planking. What does planking do? A side plank on one elbow or plank on both forearms. It activates your core. Engage your core. You're going to be a little more upright when you are on your bike or you are running, which is going to help. So you don't have all that, forward displacement, and that is going to allow you then to better engage those core muscles, right? That just totally makes sense. And then if you're a runner, then start doing things maybe like ankle circles or something to help open up those tight ankles as well. Now, a lot of people like to do foam rolling. I'll just add that one more tip. Once you do your general warm-up, if you just go for a walk on a treadmill or something like that, you can do your foam rolling then or do it before you do your specific warm-up. That will actually add a little bit more pliability, a little bit more movement as well, so you get more out of that specific warm-up or just basically body weight exercises. Overhead squats, lunges, planking, bridging, Supermans. You can even do some band chops, some rotator cuff work, anything you like. Now, again, I've made it sound like it's a lot. It maybe takes 5 minutes maximum, 10 minutes at the very, very most if you have someone or yourself who needs to do a lot of warm-up work because of previous injuries. That's all it takes, and you know what? It's worth the time because your workout is going to be so much better because of it, because you've activated the nervous system, you've primed the body, your body is good to go, and also it releases a lot of endorphins just in and of itself doing some bodyweight exercises, kind of opening up some mobility. So I'll link up at least one warm-up for this Thursday. Go check it out. It's at StephenCabral.com/370. Hopefully it actually brought you information from a way that usually you don't hear, right? You're always listening to the best workouts, the best whatever. I want to try to share things with you that you may not get anywhere else. So thank you once again for tuning into the Cabral Concept.
Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to StephenCabral.com/resources.